Change your mindset. Your life will change itself. The beggar who became a flower businessman. In a busy American city, a homeless man lived near the train station. Every day, he survived by asking passengers for spare change as they boarded and left the trains. One afternoon, while walking through the station, he noticed a tall man wearing an expensive business suit. The homeless man thought to himself, "This guy looks rich. Maybe he'll give me a few dollars." He approached the businessman and politely asked for money. The businessman looked at him and said, "You're always asking people for something. Do you ever give anything in return?" The homeless man replied, "Sir, I'm just a homeless man. I barely have enough to survive. How could I possibly give anything to someone else?" The businessman smiled and said, "If you have nothing to offer, why should anyone give you something? I'm a businessman. I believe in exchange. If you can give something of value, then I can give you something in return." After saying that, the businessman boarded his train and left. Those words stayed in the homeless man's mind. For days, he kept thinking about what the businessman had said. Maybe, he thought, the reason people rarely gave him much money was because he wasn't offering anything in return. A few days later, while sitting outside the station, he noticed colorful flowers blooming nearby. Suddenly, an idea came to him. What if I give people a flower whenever they give me money? He loved the idea. The next day, he picked some flowers and carried them with him. Whenever someone handed him $1, he gave them a flower in return. To his surprise, people smiled and happily accepted the flowers. Soon, more and more people started giving him money. As long as he had flowers to offer, people were willing to help. Weeks passed. He saw the same businessman again on a train. Excited, he walked up and said, "Sir, today I have something to give you. If you give me $1, I'll give you a flower." The businessman handed him some money. The homeless man gave him a flower. The businessman laughed and said, "Well done. You're not a beggar anymore. You're a businessman now." Those words hit him like a lightning bolt. For the first time in his life, he stopped seeing himself as a beggar. He realized that people weren't simply giving him charity anymore. They were buying something from him. That evening, he stood beneath the sky and shouted, "I'm not a beggar. I'm a businessman. And I can become successful." People thought he had gone crazy. The next day, he disappeared from the station. 6 months later, two well-dressed businessmen met at the same train station. One of them smiled and said, "Do you recognize me?" The other looked carefully and replied, "No, I don't think we've met before." The man smiled. "We've actually met 3 times. I was the homeless man who used to give flowers." The businessman was shocked. "The flower guy?" "Yes," he replied. The former homeless man explained how he had used the money he earned to buy flowers in bulk and start selling them throughout the city. His business grew quickly. People loved flowers, and he worked hard every day. Soon, he opened a flower stand. Then, a flower shop. Then, several more. Now he owned one of the largest flower businesses in the region. The businessman smiled proudly. "You taught me 2 lessons," the former homeless man said. First, that people receive when they give value. Second, that I was never truly a beggar. I simply believed I was. Both men stepped off the train together, discussing business and future opportunities. Moral of the story: success begins in the mind. If you continue to see yourself as small, weak, or incapable, your life will remain limited by those beliefs. But when you recognize your value, change your mindset, and start offering something meaningful to the world, opportunities begin to appear. Change your thinking, and you can change your life. Remember, the difference between a beggar and a businessman was not money. It was mindset.